Hi there, it's Alexis at Daxfit Studios in Angel and Islington, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about sleep, the effects of sleep, what I think, how I think it could benefit you and your health, not just your physical health, but your mental, emotional, psychological health as well. And also really talk about some of the patterns that your body goes through when you go to sleep and how you could try and sort of tweak your sleeping to benefit you. Firstly, studies have actually shown that one complete night of sleep deprivation is the equivalent to being over the legal alcohol limit. So if you think about that, if you think about your perception of what's going on around you, the speed at which things are coming towards you, your reaction times, how they're actually going to be, how your body's going to respond to it, how you're going to respond to it, are going to be completely impaired just by having one night bad sleep. Another thing that I kind of wanted to highlight was how cutting back on sleep during the week and then just sleeping in at the weekend doesn't work. Alright, so the reason that doesn't work, when you learn new things or you try and take on new information, you have like a 24-hour window by which your body and brain can absorb that and learn that new information. Now, if you don't sleep correctly and you're having sleep deprivation, then your ability to actually learn those things is dramatically decreased. So you're less likely to take that on. So you're better off taking more of a rhythm and a pattern in your sleeping. Okay. So another thing is our brain plasticity that I wanted to highlight is dependent on. So our brain plasticity, firstly, is our ability to create new connections in the brain. Okay, so our ability to learn new things is dependent on how much deep sleep we get. Okay, so I'll kind of go through that in a moment, but it's dependent on how much deep sleep we get. Also, if we're sleeping like that, so we're sleeping 5 to 6 hours during the week, and then we sleep longer periods at the weekend, we're more likely to have raised cortisol levels. So our fight or flight system is more likely to be engaged, and this is something that's going to prevent us from actually resting. It's going to keep our stress levels higher up, and it's going to keep us more ramped and more on edge. Alright, so I'm just going to briefly go through the sort of different phases of sleep we go through. So there's actually 5 stages of sleep that we go through, but I'm going to simplify it and break it down into just 2 pieces. So the first sort of 4 stages are you sort of starting off to go to sleep, so just light sleep. The first few minutes to go into sleep is like the first phase. The second phase is where you start to drift off into the sleep. Now your body, you start becoming less aware of your external environment, and stages sort of 3 and 4 is where you go into deep sleep. Now deep sleep is what you will go into for the first couple of hours of sleep. So the first few hours, typically from sort of 10 o'clock up to around 2 o'clock is where you're going to get the most amount of sort of deep sleep involved. Now, your deep sleep is your physical recovery. So anything that you've done throughout the day that's involved you physically exerting yourself, i.e. going to the gym, or if you do any manual work, then that's the sort of period, the time window that your body's got to repair itself in there. Alright, so the second half of your sleep, from about 2 a.m. through to 6 a.m, the majority of your sleep is REM, so rapid eye movement sleep. Now that's where your physical body, so your external body, your external muscles are completely paralyzed, so you have the inability to be able to move those. But what does happen, which is quite interesting, is that your heart rate starts to rise, your breathing becomes quite rapid, and your brain activity actually starts to increase. So your body requires more oxygen and requires more energy to start recovering. Now, in that period is when you start to recover emotionally, psychologically, all the mental processes, all the stresses that have gone on throughout your day that you kind of take on board into your head. So that sort of period itself is massively important for you to be able to drop yesterday's stuff off and then move into the next day. So you can see how if you don't get those sort of sleeping patterns in, they're going to affect your following day, and you'll carry that information over into the next day and kind of build up more stress, and which is going to lead to your health sort of deteriorating. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to also highlight just a couple of things that you can do to sort of help your sleep. Alright, so firstly, make sure you get enough. At least 8 hours a night is what we're aiming for. It's literally 1 hour difference in your sleep can affect your attention span and your ability to learn. So let's aim for 8 hours sleep per night. Avoid stimulants, so avoid things like caffeine, sugar, any drugs that you're taking. You know, especially avoid those towards the evening. Okay, so because they actually affect your ability to sleep properly, and they definitely affect your REM sleep. So you remember your later on, your emotional sort of sleep. Try and get into a bedtime routine was another one. So try and come up with something before you go to bed that helps you to relax. So either read a book, take a bath, or just kind of take some reflection time before you go into bed. Do some breathing or some meditating. That can also be part of your bedtime routine. Anything to start to sort of bring you back down again. Okay, another one is avoid bright lights. So avoid using your phone, avoid using your laptop, avoid watching television for about for an hour to 2 hours before you go to bed. All right, light actually increases the cortisol levels in your body, so the stress levels, and it's more likely to keep you awake and put more stress on your body. Okay, so it's going to make it difficult for you to then go into a deeper sleep. All right, so and then the last one, don't go to bed on a full stomach. I mean, I think eating before you go to bed isn't a great idea, but if you actually need a bit of food to help you sleep, that's fine. But try not to go to bed on a completely full stomach, as this is going to add more stress to your body, and it's really not going to help you to get to sleep quickly. All right, so I hope that information there has been useful, and leave your comments below on what you think, and if you've got any other tips that you could give to anybody else. All right, that's Alexis from Deprivation Studios. I'll speak to you soon.